Right, so let's start the meeting, 7:01, Permanent Building Committee, August 15th, 2024. Lynn, if you can.
You have to let me share.
I hope everybody was able to get in with the new procedure. Apparently there are incidents of Zoom bombing on other meetings in town, so therefore the new procedures is needed.
Joe, you have to give me sharing.
Give me clean. Okay, sorry.
Hey, Jason, I'm driving. Can you do the motions for payment?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Keep my eyes on the road a little.
Yeah, that's
bit.
probably a good idea, Chip.
Everybody see that?
All right, there it is.
All right.
All right.
Start from the beginning here. Okay, let's get started.
Yep. All right. Is there anybody who wishes to engage in public participation? Hearing and seeing none. Lynn?
Welcome, everyone. Tonight we'll be going through the administrative actions. We have meeting minutes from both July 18th and July 25th, Permanent Building Committee meetings for approval. We also have the monthly invoices for July, and a budget update, and then we want to talk about the PFA bid amendment and approval of that budget. Have the paperwork ready to go into MSBA for that. Turn it over to Bond for a construction update, and then we'll review schedule at the end. First is the July 8th Permanent Building Committee meeting minutes.
All right, I make a motion to approve the Permanent Building Committee, School Building Committee meeting minutes dated July 18th, 2024. Phil, you want a second?
Second.
Any discussion or comments regarding the minutes? Hearing none. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved.
And July 25th Permanent Building Committee meeting minutes.
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the Permanent Building Committee, School Building Committee meeting minutes dated July 25th, 2024.
Second.
Any questions or comments regarding the July 25th, 2024 minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Anybody object to it? Hearing none, minutes are approved.
And so we have the invoices for the month of July. The invoices total $4,546,394.70.
All right, we got a list. I'm going to make a motion to approve from Left Field OPM Construction Administration invoice number 37 dated July 31st of 24 in the amount of $145,000 even.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Chip?
Yes.
Phil?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
I think that's everyone.
All right, moving right along.
That's that's approved.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jason, sorry.
Sorry about that, Joe.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve 4 invoices from SMMA. The first AE bidding invoice number 0061726 dated August 8th of 24 in the amount of $222,727. Second for AE Construction Administration, also 0061726 dated 8/8/24, also in the amount of $222,727. This isn't a duplicate, right, Lynn?
No, it's not.
Okay, that's fine. AE Hazmat, SMMA CDW Hazardous Materials invoice 0061726 dated 8/8/2024 in the amount of $1,172.60, and AE Traffic Studies from SMMA BSC Group Traffic Study Services invoice 0061726 also dated 8/8/24 in the amount of $330. For a total for SMMA of $446,956.60.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I have a quick question about the traffic studies. Is that, there's still a considerable amount of money left, but I'm gonna imagine the traffic study's been completed, right? Like, is traffic studies just a category and like this is the group that's gonna help build the roundabout with us, or?
Yeah, exactly, Phil.
Okay.
It's just the co-pay
Okay,
category. Yeah, this will go through CA, Construction Administration.
okay, thanks.
So the additional money of 391,000, is that gonna be used up for the roundabout studies or what?
No studies, really just administering the contract, staying with,
Monitoring construction.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes,
Phil,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
it's unanimous.
Was that approved?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna make a motion to approve 9 invoices from Bond, all associated with invoice number AFP4 on 7/31/24. The first is a CM fee in the amount of $96,471.71. Second, insurance and bonds, in the amount of $237,846.57. Third, Division 1 general requirements in the amount of $81,725.66. Number 4, Division 3 concrete in the amount of $1,183,997.50. Number 5, Division 5 structural steel in the amount of $262,000 even. Number 6, Division 22 plumbing in the amount of $83,600. Number 7, Division 31 site work in the amount of $2,038,025. Number 8, Division 32 site improvements in the amount of $160,000. And number 9 is retainage withheld from contractor. Looks like a credit in the amount of $207,183.34 for a total of $3,936,483.10. We hear a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. Chip,
yes,
Phil,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
All right, that's approved. Unanimous.
All right, last invoice on this sheet from UTS for materials testing and inspections, invoice number 112863 dated July 19th of 24 in the amount of $17,955 even.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Chip,
yes,
Phil,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
It's approved. Unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Lynn.
So as of the end of July, we have committed 92% of our total project budget and expended 12%. Our prior to the vote that we're going to take tonight, our construction budget is $220,459,379, and we have out of the entire budget, we have this number is incorrect. Out of the entire budget, we have 243,244,754 that is currently remaining to be billed. However, I guess I see what it is. It's 22,065,087 uncommitted.
And we're saying uncommitted, is that
That's basically our contingencies.
those are the contingencies, right? For everybody.
yes, our contingencies, and we haven't committed any of the furnishings and technology yet, and any of our miscellaneous project costs yet.
Okay,
So I just was,
that's all right. Any questions or comment on a budget update?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
So the 92% committed, does that include like holds and allowances in the trades subcontracts?
yes.
Okay. So that's
The whole-
shown as
the whole
committed.
construction budget of 220,459,379 is fully committed after the approval of the GMP, and that includes the GMP contingency and holds and allowances.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Lynn?
So our cash flow is tracking slightly over our projected expenditure at this point, and it has mostly to do with we were tracking for a while below our projections, so we're starting to catch up now with that. This is what I wanted to talk about. We had in our budget, and I want to go back and show you that before I get into it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but our construction budget line was the 220,459,000. I'll try to,
Yeah, yeah.
You can see
You
it.
see it?
It's all right. Yep.
and then we had an alternate that was included in the overall total project budget down here of 275,250,903 was included. We had carried this amount as an alternate for Hemlock Road roundabout, and it was carried at $3,438,360. So tonight I'm asking to move that alternate up into the construction budget line, which is what this spreadsheet indicates now is moving that amount up into the budget gives us a total construction contract amount of $223,897,740. The total project budget remains the same. We're just moving that amount that we had carried in the alternate line into the construction budget line. And basically it's easier to track the expenditure that way, as opposed to having separate invoicing and separate tracking of any monies that we use in that alternate line for the roundabout.
Lynn,
Yes,
how come the scheduled value is 4,116,000 and we're moving on?
that's the bid value that it came in at. And we had carried that, we had carried the alternate as 3,438,000. So I'm moving it into, we were able to still cover the roundabout within our $220 million budget, but we're moving that alternate into this additional contingency inside the construction budget in case we have additional overages of the work, for the project on the Hemlock Road, or any of the any changes that could occur, and as a result, we have that
Okay.
contingency there.
Right. So that was extra money being held outside of the budget. But
Right, but it makes it hard to use if we don't put it in the budget.
Sure.
And so we have it there as an additional contingency, and we'll track it inside the construction budget as such. But having it as a separate line item requires a separate budgeting procedure to utilize it for any construction work, so.
Okay.
So, but to Joe's question, if you take 220,459,379 and add 3,438,000, you get 223,897,740.
Yes,
That's the bottom line over to the right. But the 4,116,000 is like 700,000 more, yet you're still getting, is one of the other line items above reduced by 700,000? Like, how do you get that? I don't get how the
Bill.
700,000 gets
so
absorbed.
we were able to incorporate Hemlock Road in the original the 4,116,000 in the original contract amount of 220 million. But as you can see here, we still had this alternate hanging out down here below the line, and to utilize that would for any construction work would require a whole separate invoicing procedure. So we're looking to move it up and track it inside the GMP, but be able to utilize it if we need it for any changes in the project.
Yeah, I get the mechanics of it. I'm asking about the math. I don't get how you're taking.
Our bid price came in higher than the 3,438,360.
The two are separate. The two are separate. They're not supposed to be equal.
The
Right.
additional
The roundabout's
contingency.
gonna
Yeah.
cost 4,116. We have that money in the original budget. Once we move that extra 3,4 over, which is up at the top on line item, what, 400?
Oh, it's not the highlight. I'm looking at the highlighted line.
Yeah, it's up
Right.
here where it says additional contingency.
Yeah, I see it now.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
it's a little
Yep.
small on my side. I see it now. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Sorry.
That's
all right.
all.
Any other questions or comments
So I
regarding this?
wanted to make you aware of this. This is how I have sent it into MSBA. They're aware of that we're doing this. They have approved it. Now I have to put together the PFA bid amendment and get those documents in, which I'm hoping to do tomorrow. So I'd like to take a vote of the PBC that you're in favor of doing this.
Okay, so we're not, all right, you don't, because the PFA comes after our vote, the actual sending it in.
Yeah,
Okay. So Jason, I'll take over now because I've stopped
Okay.
driving.
Sounds good.
I move that we make a motion to approve the project funding agreement, bid amendment, construction budget, Jesus, at 223,897,740 by incorporating the alternate for the Hemlock Road roundabout into the construction budget and maintaining the total project budget at 275,250,903.
Second.
Any questions or comments on this motion? Hearing none. Chip,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
It's approved unanimously.
thank you.
If I can just make a side comment on this, this is the same thing that we did before by putting it into construction contingency, so that at the end of the world on the project, if it's not used, it does still all go back to the town. So this is just helps us stay within that $275 million budget.
Yeah, and any use of that additional contingency line gets approved by the working group. And then
Right.
usually route rolls up to change orders that would get approved by this entire group.
Okay.
So
Okay,
as much as Dave doesn't like it, it just doesn't hang out for Bond to use as they please.
don't worry,
Understood.
better not. All right, Lynn?
With that, I'll turn it over to Bond to give us a construction update.
So, as you can see, where all the wood flooring in the gym is installed, they're working through sanding and polishing. So, kind of where we stand with that. We submitted shop drawings for approval. Waiting to head back on that, and we'll get going once we get that approval. Overall,
Can
we
quickly,
just talk
Marcus?
about,
Yeah,
can we talk about real quickly about where we stand with that?
Right.
With the painting, et cetera. So is that the are those the shop drawings you're talking about?
Correct.
So who has seen those from the school? Is Tim O'Brien on tonight?
Yes, he
Yes,
is.
sir.
Tim, who's seen those drawings?
Doug and I have looked at them. He reviewed,
who-
he reviewed them. this
Who
afternoon
else?
with
Doug,
me.
Doug meaning which Doug?
Doug Lyons.
Okay. All right. And do we need to go to the basketball coach? Do we need to go to the AD, or are you guys gonna approve them and be done with it?
We're gonna approve them. The only thing that we have left to do is I have to visit Marcus in their trailer tomorrow morning to confirm colors. I believe that's the last decision.
So that we get Wakefield red?
Exactly.
Okay. The other thing, when you do that, I couldn't tell in the drawings whether we still have a shaded area between the key and the 3-point line. Remember, the old one kind of had a stain in that area?
Yes,
It
we
does
were
not
going to.
appear,
Oh, go ahead.
it doesn't appear that this drawing has that.
Let me see.
Do we want that or not?
Are you talking about like the thick border around the basketball court itself?
No, the key.
Now the 3-point line around the top of the key.
3-point line into the key had a stained different color on the old court. It doesn't appear that this drawing has that. Do we care about that?
I'm not sure we're incredibly worried about that. I will, however, before I visit Marcus tomorrow morning, I will review. I have some overhead photos of the original, and I'll compare that. I'll compare that to the drawing.
That's the only spot that I saw that was different.
Okay. I'll make note of that.
I have a photo if you want to see it now.
I'll stop.
No,
That's all right.
no.
Okay.
This is in Tim's court. We don't. I just want to make sure that Doug and Tim have vetted it to whoever they want to vet it to, because the first thing that if anybody complains to me, I'm going to say is talk to Tim and Doug.
That's perfectly fine. I appreciate you pointing that out, Chip. We'll take a peek at that, and before I see Marcus in the morning, and we'll make sure that we've got everything figured out.
And then will you just also, Tim, walk the floor and make sure that you have all the volleyball appropriate things in the floor that were there previously,
Absolutely.
so that you don't end up trying to put your hoops up in 3 weeks and your nets up in 3 weeks and like, oops, we don't have a tie down.
I'm under strict orders from our volleyball coach to make sure that happens already. So
Okay, great.
we'll get it done.
But I think from schedule wise, we'll see how it all goes. But I think we're ahead of schedule so I think we'll be in great shape.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Marcus, what does the schedule look like for completion and able to be used?
It's looking like the first week of September we'll have this finished. We're doing all we can to make that better that date, but that's the timing right now.
But don't tell anybody until you're sure of it.
So Marcus, correct me if I'm wrong. We're basically wrapping up sanding or just wrapped up sanding, and then there's various layers of sealant and coatings and whatnot, which we're looking to start. Is it tomorrow or next week?
I think the coating starting tomorrow.
Okay, so there's a somewhat lengthy process for drying and line striping and whatnot, but we're certainly not behind what we laid out previously.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think if there's any opportunity to pick up time, let's do it, even if it means maybe a little bit more, like working on a Saturday or something. Just keep that in mind. The earlier we can get it, the better we'll be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we right from the start, FJ Roberts worked every Saturday, so to pick up days.
Okay, great.
What's the estimated cost of this whole floor?
300, give or take.
Around 300, yeah.
That's construction contingency?
That is
GMP contingency.
Yes.
Pardon me?
Yes.
GMP contingency, bond contingency.
Bonds contingency, not ours.
Okay, and this isn't an insurance matter in any way, what happened with the backup?
We have a $250,000 deductible.
Yeah, so not worth it.
And
Okay.
by the time you use that and then get your bumped in rate, it would
Yeah, it's
cost
not
us
worth the
more than
claim
the cost
history.
of the job.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, okay, thanks.
It was looked at.
Thanks.
The other thing pictured here was the new culvert going across Hemlock Road. So that happened late July successfully. It's tied in now. It's live. The old culvert is removed, finished up, I believe, yesterday. So that's all good. Overall, Quigley is in the upper lot hammering that ledge removal. We're a little behind on getting that removed to get the retaining wall footing, the remaining retaining wall for the upper lot footing installed. We're hoping to have that completed tomorrow, and then Quigley would come back, excavate, and prep to get the formwork in. Over on the main site, as I said, we finished removing the old culvert. We started the balance of the overX in the building B area. There were also backfilling foundations in building E, and then we started excavating for foundations in building F. Utility work, we're going to get it in before school's back. So we're both on Hemlock doing the duck bank, which started this week, and then we're also on farm tying in the new water line. Once that water line's done, we'll work on the sanitary and data lines coming from there. We're targeting to be done and backfilled on next Thursday, and then the paver is scheduled for next Friday, the 23rd. Keller is mobilizing tomorrow with their rigs. They're coming back to finish the remaining ground improvements for roughly 2-week duration. And then J.R. Marshall is on site, kind of just working through building E and F foundations, wrapping those up until they can get back up to the upper lot to finish the retaining wall. That's kind of a construction update.
Where do we stand with starting getting the dirt off the softball field and starting to put the softball field back together? Where are we at with hiring Emmanuel as the contractor? I've seen their list of jobs, although it's not impressive with field work, it's probably enough. But it will just take a close supervision to make sure it's done really well. But how soon are we starting to target the start of that?
That is August.
So
9th.
we're pushing for August, the week of the August 26th. We started hauling off the dirt from the softball field yesterday. I think there was like 10 trucks already. We're down to a very smaller pile, and then the reason why it's pushed out a little bit is we can't get the trucks in while Keller's putting in the ground improvement, so we had to kind of do a sacrifice right there. So once Keller's done with the ground improvements, we'll be back and trucking the remaining dirt out.
In Marcus, the old culvert removal has started, but we're not across the softball field, correct?
I
think that was the plan for
we might-
Saturday, if I remember correctly.
we might not have. I actually walked it today and I saw a bunch on the softball field, so I thought we got through it, but it could be for this Saturday.
So yeah, so we're still removing material, both culvert and existing and the stockpiled soil. But once those are out of the way, we'll start marching towards putting this back together.
I'd like to see a schedule on that at some point.
Okay.
I'm not sure your big schedule has that, does it?
Was actually, Tim, do you mind popping up the Jerry's look ahead? I'm just curious if it's on there. Let's see. It may not be. We'll get that pulled together, Chip.
I'd like to just look at that separately each week to know where we stand, because getting the sod down as soon as possible and having it have a chance to set this fall is very, very important.
Absolutely. Okay, well, actually, so it's not there in great detail, but that mobilize the second manual activity targeting 826, mobilize and perform soils and plant, install and wetland by culvert starting 826 is really the first activity, and then
Okay.
the following weeks after that we'll get into more detail.
Great. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
And then as soon as they start figuring it out, I'd love to see the sod spec that they're planning on using.
Absolutely. We'll send that
Thank
your
you.
way when we have it.
Yeah, yeah. But they may need to start sourcing it now to make sure somebody has enough come late September, early October when they're looking for it.
Yep, agreed.
All right, is there anybody else, any questions or comments regarding the construction update? Hearing none, Lynn?
Okay, just a quick review. Our next PPC construction tour is August 29th. And the next permanent building committee meeting is on September 12th. And we also decided on October 10th for the neighborhood meeting.
All right, any questions on the schedule? Just remember the August 29th, 5 o'clock tour.
And that's it.
All right,
All right.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
is there any objection? I feel sorry for you. All in favor, yes, and click leave meeting, and we'll see you on the 29th, hopefully.
See ya.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
All right,
Good
take
night.
care, everyone.
Good night.